according to Walt Disney, lahat tayo, marami tayong pangarap, yet the way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing, because I've learned na ang civil service exam pala ang pinaka most widely taken examination and only 10 to 12% ang pumapasa. And according to most, ang pinakamahirap na part to most, lalo na pag professional, yung reading comprehension. But it still depends on you. Kasi kanya-kanya tayo ng forte or talent. Now, let's discuss verb. Ano daw sa Tagalog ang verb? Sabi ng iba, pandesal. Pero di ba pandiwa yan sa Tagalog? And pag sinabing pandiwa, isang salitang nagsasaad ng kilos o galaw. And it's also the same sa English. Verb is a word that expresses action, pero hindi lang siya action, but also a state of being. So we have different types of verb. Meron tayong regular verb. So familiar na siguro ito sa marami sa inyo. Pag sinabi nating regular, ito yung mga mag-a-add ka lang ng D or ED to form the past and past participle form ng verb. For example, yung verb na walk, W-A-K. So lagyan mo lang siya ng ED and it will become past tense or past participle. Another one is irregular verb. Of course, ito yung kabaligtaran ni regular verb. Pag hindi ka pwedeng mag-add lang basta ng D or ED, yon ay irregular verb. Like yung sing, di ba ang past tense niya sang, nagiging S-A-N-G. Or kapag past participle naman, nagiging sung, S-U-N-G. It's also similar sa drive. Ang past tense is drove. Ang past participle, driven. Okay, so we'll focus more on the classes of verb. We have action verbs. So meron tayong transitive, intransitive, and ditransitive. Meron din tayong mga auxiliary linking verbs and auxiliary verbs like modal and helping verbs. So focus muna tayo sa action verbs. So I hope familiar na sa inyo ang transitive verb. Pero kung hindi pa, don't worry. Let's discuss it. Pag sinabing transitive verb, ito yung mga verb na kailangan ng object. Kailangan nila ng receiver ng action. Pag sinabi nating direct object, ito yung mga verb, or rather noun, isa kasi itong function and noun, na nag-a-answer o sumasagot sa tanong na what or who. Let me give you an example. The boy read the book. So can you tell me, nasan ang subject sa sentence na to? It's the boy, di ba? And now, which one is the verb? Read. So, now, if you just end it there, ikakat mo, the boy read, hindi kompleto yung meaning, although may subject at saka may verb. Kailangan kasi ng receiver ng action. The boy read what? The book. So, the book here, the noun here is the direct object. All right, so that's an example of a transitive verb. Now, meron din tayong mga, ito kasi monotransitive, isang object lang ang kailangan niya. Meron din tayong tinatawag na ditransitive verb. Dalawa naman yung kailangan niyang object to complete the sentence. Okay? For example, by the way, ang indirect object, ito yung mga sumasagot sa question na to whom or for whom. Para kanino. Kung ang direct object, what or who, ang indirect object naman to whom or for whom. Sue gave Anne a gift. So, which is the subject? Sue. Alin ang verb natin? Gave. Gave what? Ano yung binigay ni Sue kay Anne? Gift. So, for whom is that gift? For Anne. So, ngayon, si Anne dito, isa siyang indirect object. Para kanino yung gift? Para kay Anne. So, this is an example of a transitive verb. Now, meron din tayong intransitive verb. Ang intransitive verb, hindi naman niya kailangan ng object. Kompleto na siya on its own, pero pwede mo pa rin siyang dagdagan ng adverb or adverbial phrase na tinatawag. Okay, for example, she dances gracefully. Subject, she, verb, dances. And how does she dance? Paano siya sumayaw? Gracefully, di ba? So gracefully here is an adverb of manner. Kasi dinidescribe niya or minomodify niya kung paano mag-dance. So if you are familiar with sentence pattern, ito po yung tinatawag natin sa transitive STVDO, sa ditransitive STVIODO, and sa intransitive SIV. Pwedeng SIV lang or others naglalagay pa sila ng adverb at the end. Right? So now let's move forward sa linking and auxiliary verbs. Actually, linking verb, maraming mga kahit us English majors, medyo marami ang nako-confuse between linking verb and auxiliary verbs. So let's discuss this. Linking verb, ang trabaho niya, link, to connect lang the subject to the complement or to the other parts of the predicate. Okay, wala siyang sinushow na action, hindi rin niya kailangan ng object. Okay, ito yung mga pinaka-common nating linking verb. Is, are, was, were, been, sick, etc. Okay, for example, Mr. Franz is the proctor. Subject, Mr. Franz. Linking verb is, and then we have here a subject complement. So nag-refer back siya sa subject na si Mr. Franz. So yung proctor, si Mr. Franz then. So this is an example of how linking verb is used in a sentence. Now let's take a look at this example again. She looks tired. Again, subject, she, linking verb looks, and subject complement, tired. The adjective tired here refers back to she. Nire-refer niya o dinidescribe niya na siya ay pagod, mukha siyang pagod. But if you'll notice, looks can also be an action verb. Pwede rin siya maging action verb. Paano natin nalaman na in this sense, linking verb ang gamit niya? So it's easy. Just replace the verb with a be verb. So in this case, pinalitan natin yung looks ng is. And you'll see the meaning is still the same. She is tired. Pareho lang yung meaning dun sa she looks tired. Pero pag action verb, hindi ganon. Tingnan nyo to. She looks at me. Tiningnan niya ako. So kapag pinalitan natin yung looks ng is, magiging she is at me. Walang sense, walang meaning. So hindi siya linking verb, action verb po siya. Alright? Naintindihan po ba? Okay, so let's go now to helping verb. Helping verb naman from the word itself, auxiliary verb po yung helping verb, tumutulong siya sa main verb. It goes hand in hand with main verb to form yung tinatawag nating verb phrase. So discuss natin yun later. So nagbabago siya ng form, depende sa subject, kung yung subject mo ay singular or plural, or depende rin siya sa tense, kung ikaw ba ay if you're talking about present tense or past tense. We have three kinds of helping verb. Meron tayong be verb. Ito yung pinaka-common na be verbs natin. Is, are. Nawala na. Yan. The girl is writing a letter. Subject, girl. Yung auxiliary verb natin or helping verb natin dito is. And then the main verb is writing. Okay, so together is writing form what we call the verb phrase. Now let's go to do verb. Yung do verb po, tatlo lang siya. Thus, do, or did. So remember ang mga helping verb natin, ang carrier ng tense. So kapag present tense ka, siya, and then you're talking about third person na singular, use does. So hindi mo sasabihin I does, you does, they does. Instead, we use does kapag she, other person, third person, or it, diba? So kapag you do, I do, they do, we do. And then yung did naman, ito yung past tense ng do or does. She did not believe me. So we have she as the subject and then did as the helping verb or auxiliary verb and believe as the main verb. Now remember this dahil sinabi ko, di ba, yung do verbs ang carrier ng action. So yung did natin nasa past tense na, therefore hindi nyo na kailangan dagdagan pa ng D at the end ng believe because it will become double past tense na. So just use the base form of the verb, do not believe. And finally, we have verb. So kapag third person, singular, gamitin natin ang has. Pag second person, first person, singular, gamitin natin ang have. Kapag past tense naman siya, whether first or second or third person, had lang ang gagamitin natin. Okay, so for example, Mary has written a letter. So we have here has, auxiliary verb or helping verb, and written, main verb. Now remember, sa have verb, ang kasunod po niyang main verb should be in the past participle. Hindi natin sasabing has wrote. Mali po yan, syntax error yon. Instead, we say has written, not has drove. Instead, we say has driven. Kasi nga past participle po. Ang kasunod na verb kapag gumamit tayo ng have verb. I hope I'm clear with that. So let's go to modal. Modal naman, nag-indicate po siya ng modality. Pwedeng mag-indicate siya ng possibility, certainty, ano pa ba? Permission, yung mga ganon. Okay? So, hindi nagbabago ang modal form. So, whether you are talking about present tense or future tense, so hindi magbabago, yung base form lang po ang gagamitin natin. Modal plus the base form. Now, of course, may mga modal verbs tayo that refers to the past tense naman. Ginagamit natin sa past tense like will, ang present tense natin, pero ang past tense niya would. Okay? So, you may leave now. So, you here is the subject, and then we have may as the auxiliary verb, the modal verb, and leave as the main verb. So, ito yung mga ibang example ng modals. May or might is to show possibility. By the way, do you know the difference between may or might? So, of course, yung might ginagamit sa past tense. Pero when we talk about possibility, pag may kasi, usually, mas mataas yung possibility. Like when you say, it may rain tonight. So, there's this 50% chance of raining tonight. Pero pag might, mas mababa yung possibility na uulan. So, siguro mga 30% lang, ganon. Okay, so next, we talk about ability. So, can or could. Pag could po, ginagamit natin yan to talk about past ability. Like, I could ride a bike when I was younger. So, it means ngayon, hindi ko na kayang sumakay ng bike. Okay? Obligation, should, must, have to, ought to, need to. Yan yung mga modal verbs natin that shows obligation. Futurity, we have will or shall. Usually, ginagamit natin ang shall kapag first person. I shall, we shall. Yan. And mostly formal kasi ang ginagamitan ng shall. Di ba? Like sa 10 Commandments, you shall not kill. Alright? So permission, may or would. Okay, mas formal or mas polite yung would. Pero yung may din, pwede rin na natin gamitin to show formal permission. Okay, so clear?